Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I'm going to be doing my September update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan. This is a project that was very heavily inspired by Alexy. She actually dreamed up this project a few years ago now, and I've actually been doing it for the past 3 years and I see no indications that that will be stopping. What I am doing in my particular project is I am randomizing 6 shades from all of my eyeshadow palettes to be working on with the ultimate goal of hitting pan. However, if I have used the shade 30 times and I have still not hit pan, then I have given myself the option of rolling it out and choosing a new shade to go in its place. Additionally, I'm not going to be working on any black eyeshadows, white eyeshadows, or cream colored setting shade sort of things. Those just aren't fun for us to watch. So let's talk about the eyeshadows that are currently in this project. So I am going to go ahead and start with this one right here because I do have an update about it. So this is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered palette. I rolled this in 2 updates ago, and the shade that I was to be working on is this shade right here called Fling. So as you can see, clearly nowhere near pan there. So the thing about it is that in this palette, most of the metallics in here, with the exception of 2, I think it's these 2 right here, Pink Diamonds and Moon Dust. These are the only 2 powders. The rest are creams, and I don't like them. I don't like them. They are a stiffer cream, and I find them difficult to use. I also find them difficult to layer. I am sure that that is user error. Please don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there are tons of you out there that are like, that's one of my favorite palettes. Awesome. It's not mine. It's not mine. I got some really fantastic suggestions. In fact, I'll go ahead and pop one of them up here that recommended using a sponge-tipped applicator, which actually is a genius idea. The problem that I have is that I don't know how to clean those properly, and then it's just some random disposable tool that's floating around on my already overcrowded desk, and I'm not having fun with it. And so I've actually come to the decision that even though I love the mattes in this palette, the mattes are absolutely fantastic, especially these 2 down here, Henna and Sandalwood. I adore these 2 mattes specifically, but I don't like the rest of the shimmers in the palette, so it doesn't make sense for me to hold on to this palette and only use 2 of the matte shades in here, especially since I'm pretty darn confident that I have similar enough shades throughout the other 100 or so palettes that I own. So this is actually going to be decluttered out of my collection. I would much rather pass it on to somebody that is going to enjoy the palette and love it for what it is versus me that just doesn't. So that is rolling out of this project and out of my life entirely. The other shade that is going to be rolling out is from this palette right here. This is from Nabla Cosmetics. This is my Poison Garden palette, and the shade that I have been working on is Adoration, and that is this shade right up here at the top. Now, hopefully I can catch it in the light. Maybe you can see it, but I think you can see it. I have hit pan, so yay! This will be rolling out of the project as well. I did use it an additional 10 times in order to hit pan for a total of 28 uses throughout the course of this project, which is pretty on par with what is pretty typical for me, and hitting pan is about 30 uses. So yay, we have a goal actually met, which is very, very exciting. Now, I have also been working on this palette right here. This is from Naked Cosmetics. This is a trio that I received in BoxyCharm years ago now. And the shade that I'm working on is this shade right here. This is just a green metallic shade. I don't know if you can really see or not. It does have a little bit of a dip starting in here, which is nice. I have used it 6 times since our last update, for a total of 16 uses in this project. that is what the shade looks like there. It's very pretty. I do enjoy it a lot. Let me grab a towel. And I'm happy to be working on it. So this is the shade that is still staying in this project. Also, as of the last update, as of the last update, I did roll this palette in. This is my Too Faced I Want Candy palette. This was a collab that they did a few years ago with Kandee Johnson. And the shade that I rolled in is this shade right here called Frosted Pink. This shade hasn't gotten quite as much use, mostly because I was focusing on Adoration. So this is a very light metallic pink. I don't know if you'll be able to tell so well. So this really works for me best as a inner corner highlighting shade. I have found in the uses, I've used it 5 times since bringing it into this project, that it can get a little bit lost in the look. So I do tend to use it primarily as an inner corner highlight, and now that Adoration has got its pan in there, that's probably how I'm going to start using this more often. As of the last update, I also rolled in this palette. This palette right here. This is from BH Cosmetics. This is my Do Not Disturb palette. And the shade that I am working on is this matte purple right here called Peace Out. It is what I'm wearing along with a few other things on my eyelids today. And I have really, really loved working on this shadow. I've had so much fun with it. And I mean, you guys know that I enjoy the BH Cosmetics formula anyway. But what I really appreciate about this color is that it is a buildable shade. So it doesn't come out looking this vibrant and purple immediately. You really have to build it up. And I really, really like that about eyeshadows, because it gives me more room to work with it. It allows me to use it with a lot more eyeshadow looks, and I've just really had so much fun with this eyeshadow. In fact, what I have been pairing it with the most is from my Tartist Pro Remix palette. I am also working on the shade Flow, which is this shade right here. It is this lovely silver, and both Flow and Peace Out work so nicely together. That's actually what I do have on my lid, on the inner part of my lids. I did also top it with a more sparkly shade from my Plain Jane palette, but this has just been really nice to pair all together, and I've really, really enjoyed using it in that way. I didn't mention, but the shade Peace Out from my Do Not Disturb palette, I have used 9 times since bringing it into this project, and then Flow I've used an additional 4 times for a total of 12 uses in this project. So I haven't hit my 30 uses on any of our remaining shadows, so they will all be hanging out with us for at least a little bit longer. However, what that does mean is that we are going to be drawing 2 new shades into our project today. So I do have my Pretty Random app all set up. It does have, I have all of my eyeshadows on a spreadsheet. I have pulled a few palettes off, added a few palettes on. So right now we have variables 2 through 1871. And the first shade that we're randomizing is 661. And then 955. So let me go figure out where that comes from, and then we'll come back and see what else we are working on in this project. Okay, so we have our palettes, and the first shade is actually from a palette that has been in this project a few times at this point. It comes from my BH Cosmetics. It's my Ray Ray palette. This palette, I do believe, was the first BH Cosmetics palette that I ever purchased, and is why I fell so head over heels in love with the brand. So the shade that we randomized was this shade right here. I did get another matte. This is the shade Friday. So we have this that we are going to be working on here, and I'm really excited about it. I have not gotten nearly enough usage out of this palette since it is no longer in a project, and I miss it. I really do. I miss it a lot. So I'm really, really happy to have this back in my life again. The other shade comes to us from a palette that has gotten a lot of use as well. 955 comes from my Lorac Mega Pro 4 palette. This was my Pan That palette a couple of years ago, 2019, I think. I didn't do very well with it at all. But the shade 955 is this shade right here called Fairy Tale. It's this sort of silvery periwinkle. Does that sound about right? So that will be a lot of fun. I'm actually kind of excited to bring this palette back out again. I'm actually working on another shade in another project, so this is actually already going to be on my desk anyway, but I think it will actually complement what I'm working on. So this is the color story that we have. So this is Fairy Tale right here, and then this is Friday right here. So I think because of, I mean, everything but the green, to be quite honest with you, everything kind of will work nicely in tandem with one another, and I'm really excited to break into these. So that is where we landed. As always, everything that I am panning as well as everything that I'm wearing on my face will be linked in the description box below. And if you have not yet subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing so. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you are having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.